From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. The first session of the 111th Tennessee General Assembly concluded its work last week. That was before a scandal completely enveloped Capitol Hill beginning on the last day of the session. It's a controversy that has continued to grow daily. Chief of Staff of House Speaker Glen Casada has resigned, and the Speaker himself is now facing calls to step down. It's amid charges ranging from inappropriate text messages concerning women and people of color to an effort to illegally frame a civil rights worker who had been at odds with the Speaker. The ex-Chief of Staff has also admitted using cocaine while on duty in his office. There's also been allegations made of possibly illegal eavesdropping and other things going on with the House Speaker. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally is our guest on Inside Politics this week. We'll spend most of our conversation talking about the last session, but first, Mr. Speaker, thank you for joining us today.
Delighted to. Thank you, Pat.
This is a pretty horrible situation that we've been dealing with up here for the last week. If this was a situation that occurred for you, although your reputation for integrity would not allow this to happen, but if this was you, a member of your leadership team, or a member of your staff, would you be telling them they need to pack their bags right now?
I think so. I think that would be the appropriate response.
So where do we go from here in your opinion about this?
Well, it's really up to the House and to the Speaker of the House as to what course they take over the next few weeks.
There have been recent controversies, and this is the latest one, about how Tennessee lawmakers talk about women and how they talk in some cases about people of color. There have been training implemented, and there have been enforced training to have to happen, but nothing seems to be changing. So what do we need to do to sort of get rid of that national reputation we're getting of being, our legislature being a frat house, an animal house, a place where locker room talk is tolerated?
Well, I think it's greatly improved over the years. Of course, I came in 1978, about 40 years ago.
So it used to be a lot worse?
It did. It did. And I think that it's more isolated individuals. It's not, it's not like 90% of the members of the House and Senate.
These accusations about white noise machines in the House and about eavesdropping going on in conference rooms, even when there's not a committee meeting going on, does that shock you? You don't have anything going on like that in the Senate.
No, the white noise machines, I think, they're actually were installed in the House Speaker's office. We don't have them. And as I understand it, it's used to block the ability to record or block noise, and the ability to listen in on in other areas in the House and Senate. I know we don't have it in the Senate, and I would certainly be surprised if they had it in the House.
In the end of this, in terms of dealing with African Americans, people of color, the focal point of this has been the Nathan Bedford Forrest bus, which has been in the state capitol building right across from the state Senate chambers for several years. There's been some talk recently about adding, I think Governor Lee said this, about adding some context to it or doing something with it. Is this an opportunity to reopen that conversation to see what we need to do about continuing to have that bus in its present location and in its present context on the Hill?
I think it is, and I think the governor had an excellent suggestion.
What is it exactly he wants to have done? I mean, what does he mean by putting it in context? What else would be added there? Would it be moved to the State Museum, for example?
Well, and there was a proposal by one of the constitutional officers that the bus in the Capitol be rotated, and so that would give different individuals the ability to have a bust on the second floor, but it's the Capitol Commission really controls that.
But a number of people on the Capitol Commissions are people that work at your pleasure in terms of the legislature. You put those people in office in those various constitutional offices. I mean, if the legislature made it plain that this is what you wanted to have done, that commission would probably be not likely to want to buck that.
Probably.
Getting back to Speaker Casada, Are you concerned that he has lost his ability to lead, to be effective as the leader of a House? And while that's the House's business, it becomes the Senate's business and the business of the people of Tennessee, because if the House and Senate are together, nothing comes out of the legislature, nothing gets done. And if nothing gets done, then the people of Tennessee suffer. Right.
And that's a difficult question to answer, because we operate as separate and independent bodies, and I can't tell the House what to do, and I can't tell the House Speaker what to do.
You have one of your own members, Steve Dickerson of Nashville, who's been named in a civil lawsuit brought by some federal investigators about the healthcare company that he founded and remains one of its top officials. Senator's not made any public comments. His lawyer, through some court filings, has indicated he's cooperating to sort of limit his exposure in this. Mm-hmm. Has he been keeping your office informed about this? Are you comfortable with where this situation is with him?
Well, those type of situations are difficult for anybody to go through, and I know Steve, and I've always known him to be somebody who's very knowledgeable and very truthful, and I actually had appointed him to head up the state and local government committee, I believe, before this was news. But of course, if there is some type of problem, it might be best to consider removing him, but I'd have to wait and see how big the problem
potentially
was.
Changing, having him step down from leadership might be one step, but at this point you're comfortable staying in that and perhaps also staying in his Senate position, or not taking a leave or resigning from that.
Right, until we know a lot more about what's happening, I think.
Did this surprise you? Did you expect this kind of thing to happen? I mean, I guess nobody expected something like this to happen. It's actually like this, but for it to come right at the end of the session seemed to catch a lot of people right off by surprise.
It did. It did. There's always a pretty active grapevine in the Capitol and you believe probably less than half of what you hear. So the
grapevine was even caught off guard by this?
Well, no, there were periodically there'd be rumors about things.
Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally is our guest on Inside Politics. We've been talking about the scandal that's enveloped Tennessee regarding the Tennessee House Speakership and one of his aides. We're back to continue our conversation, look back on this last session of the 111th General Assembly after this break.